All right, well, let's go ahead and set up a Liferay account so that we can work on the platform while we do some of these hands-on exercises for this course together. All right. So there are some steps on the page here that show you how to get a WeDeploy set up. So if you want to do that, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and follow the alternative steps where I set up a local installation of Liferay and get that running on my own computer. Okay. So to start, what I have in my downloads folder is my exercises, my DXP bundle, and my activation key. So you should have all of these present while you're doing these videos. Okay. And we are going to start by installing our exercises in our Liferay folder that we create. Okay, so I'm going to open a new tab here, and I'm going to navigate to my Liferay folder. So I've already created a Liferay folder. So for those of you who are following along in my footsteps, you want to make sure that you have a Liferay folder created in either your C drive if you're on Windows, or your user home if you are using Mac or Linux. So in my Liferay folder, you'll see that I have a bundles folder. This is where we're going to place our Liferay bundle. So let's go ahead and start with getting that in there, and then we'll also have our exercises set up as well. All right, so in my downloads folder, I have my Liferay DXP bundle. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this, go to my Liferay folder and bundles, okay? And I'm going to have it pasted right here. So you'll see I actually already have one available. Make sure you paste it here, okay? Now, if you're on Windows, I would highly recommend using some other unzipping tool other than the default Windows unzipper, okay? The default Windows unzipper is actually going to essentially destroy your bundle. It's not going to unzip everything properly. You're going to get some path length issues, and the server's not going to run as expected, okay? So use something like WinZip or 7-Zip or SecureZip or pretty much anything else other than the default Windows unzipper. Okay. For those of us on Mac or Linux, we can just go ahead and use the default archive utility and open that up. All right, so let's get the exercises installed here as well. Okay. We're just going to make this nice and easy. We're going to take the exercises zip from our downloads, okay, or wherever you may have placed it once you downloaded it from the page. And we are going to place it in our Liferay folder alongside the bundles folder. Okay. So we're going to go back up to our Liferay folder, and we're going to place the exercises here and just open them on up. All right, now this is going to give us all of our exercises. If you open this up, you will see all 10 chapters here, and so for each chapter here, you can expect that we will be in the designated chapter folder. Okay? All right, so one last thing before we get Liferay started up here. Let's go ahead and go back to our bundles folder and go to our DXP bundle. And we're going to actually just preset the activation key so that when we start up, we can just jump right into the setup wizard. All right, so to do this, I'm going to go ahead and create a deploy folder. All right, if you don't pre-create one, Liferay will auto-generate a deploy folder, so you can just start it up and place your activation key in afterwards, but we're just going to do it beforehand. Okay, and we're going to go back to the downloads folder, and I'm going to grab my activation key. Okay, you should have your own activation key provided by your company as well. Okay, and we're going to just place the activation key right on into the deploy folder. Okay, now for startup, it's going to look a little bit different for the different operating systems. Okay, so for Windows, go ahead and navigate to your bundle, Tomcat, bin folder. All right, and you're going to find that startup.bat file. Okay, so assuming you have a JDK already set up on your computer, and if you don't, you can follow those steps on the page. You can just go ahead and get things started right away just by double-clicking the startup.bat. For those of us on Mac or Linux, we're going to actually need to open up our terminal. Okay, and if you don't have your terminal readily available, you can go ahead and get the terminal from the Applications and Utilities folder. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to navigate in the terminal to the bin. All right, an easy way to do this for both Windows and Mac, if you'd like to, is you can just simply go to the bin folder. On Windows, you can simply copy the path. On Mac, we can just simply drag the bin folder into our terminal, okay, and hit enter. All right, obviously you'll need to make sure that CD is there beforehand. That's how you navigate the directories. Now once we're here in our bin folder in the terminal, we can run /catalina.sh and run. So this is just saying run the Catalina sh file in here, which will both start the server and give us some logs as well. Okay, so go ahead and hit enter to start the server. Now this can take a little bit of time to get started up for the first time if you are running this locally. So feel free to pause the video here and start up when we are ready to go and the server is started. All right. All right, so after a little bit of time, you should see that it says server startup in a set of milliseconds. All right, and what this will do is it will open a new browser window for us when it's ready. All right, and it will bring us straight to the basic configuration or the setup wizard here, where we can input some basic information for the platform and the admin user as well as the admin user account. So once this is up, you can go ahead and change the portal name here to Livingston Hotels and Resorts. This is going to be the use case that we're rolling with here. We're going to create some content for the Livingston Hotels and Resorts, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail as we continue in the sections. Okay? Make sure you uncheck add sample data. We definitely do not want that. And then we're just going to go ahead and create the admin account here. So we're going to create Josiah and Copeland for the first and last name. This may look familiar if you've taken the fundamentals course. All right, and for the email, we're going to go ahead and do the full josiah.copeland@livingston.com. All right, so make sure you have this set up here. Click on Finish Configuration, and then we will walk through a few more steps here. Okay, first, we have the terms of use here. This is just a placeholder. You can go into the control panel, configuration and instance settings to actually set your own terms of use. So feel free to pause the video when we have the platform set up and maybe mess around with that and set some terms of use of your own. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and click on agree here. All right, and we're going to set a password. So I'm going to do something incredibly complicated like test. Okay, and then we'll just need to answer it again and click save. All right, and there's that password reminder query here. We can go ahead and just pretty much add whatever we want. So what's your father's middle name? Okay, mine may also be test as well. And I'm going to click save. All right, and what this is going to do is this is going to load up our default vanilla instance of Liferay. Okay, so we see hello world. All right, and we have a few of the management tools at the very top that we'll be working with in the product menu. Okay, so we have the menu. All right, and in the menu, we have a few sections here, but the primary section that we will be working on together is the site administration panel. All right, this is going to be where we have our content section and where we can add content, manage content, we can add metadata, so all of these things that we'll actually talk about as we continue on. Okay, and then we also have the add menu at the top right. This is where we can add widgets or content to the actual pages we're working on. So we'll be here as well as we continue through the course. Now before we finish up here for this section, let's go ahead and install the Fjord theme that we'll be working with. Now this is the theme that we create in our front-end developer course, if any of you have taken that. It is also available on the marketplace for free, and it was built by our UI engineers. There's a few themes on there you guys can take a look at and use in your own platform. So I would encourage you to go over there and take a look at what they have available. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the control panel and apps. Okay, now there are two ways of doing this. We could either deploy it in the actual file system itself, but for those of you who may have set up a WeDeploy instance for this, we can go ahead and deploy it through the platform itself. So go ahead and open Apps and App Manager. Okay. Now you can go through the store if you have an account that will connect you to the Liferay marketplace. This is just going to allow us to deploy the file itself. All right, so once that's loaded, go ahead and come to Options at the top right. Click on Upload. Go ahead and click on Choose File. All right. Go go ahead and navigate to your exercises. So this should be C Liferay or user home Liferay. And then in there you have the exercises folder at the top. And we have that first chapter here where we will see the fjord theme.war. All right, so go ahead and open that up. Click install. And it says success. So to verify the success, we can go ahead and close that and search for Fjord in our app manager here, and we'll see our Fjord theme, and it is active. Okay. If it doesn't show up right away, the platform may still be processing the file, so just give it a second and then try searching again, and it should show up here. All right, so with that, we have our setup, and we will continue working through some hands-on exercises in the following sections and chapters. All right, so I'll see you in the next section.